Hello, welcome to Yoga Rocks Box. I'm here with Melanie Cooper again, and she's taught a lovely week at Yoga Rocks. It's been a totally nice week, which I always say, but I think it always is a nice week here. And Melanie's written a book. Now, a few years ago we talked about it. So how long has it been in the making?
Oh, a long time. I think around about 3 years from thinking that, okay, I'm going to turn this into a book, but before that I was writing notes and collecting information together for a long time before that. So,
And
yeah.
it's called Teaching Yoga Adjusting Asana, which I think is a great title. So tell us a little bit about why you called it that.
Well, I started off mainly with pictures of all the adjustments, and it was going to be an adjustment manual. And then I thought, oh, I'll just write something quick about the breath and the bandhas to go with it, and that's what took 3 years. So just thinking, oh, I'll just quickly write something turned into years. And actually, when you look at it, the adjustments are just a sort of quite a small bit at the back, and most of it is the rest. And we did play around with a lot of different titles. It took us quite a long time to think of that, but in the end we thought that kind of summed up what it was, so hopefully it does what it says on the tin.
I've just been skipping through it, and it's quite addictive. It's very helpful about teaching the less tangible aspects of yoga, which Mel's very good at, making things very easy to understand. Stuff that can seem a little bit floaty, Mel's makes very practical, and it's really nice that now you can get that written down. So I'm really enjoying it. It's in the toilet with me. I love it. So and the less tangible aspects of yoga, you've made it nice and clear. It's important, isn't it, to not sound too floaty while you're teaching?
Yes, yeah, definitely. And that's one of my guiding principles. I always try to make what I say very concise, very clear, and very unambiguous. So I do think quite a lot about what I'm going to say and how I'm going to say it, so that it comes across in the clearest way, and also that I'm not sounding preachy or airy-fairy or away with the fairies or anything like that, that everything that I say is quite clear.
Because there is a certain something in yoga that where people have been practicing for a long time, practicing in a good way, because some people don't always practice yoga in a good way, but people practicing yoga where they start to kind of seem quite sparkly, and this is quite something that's quite hard to put your finger on, isn't it?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, and I think it's not something that you can deliberately set out to do, and so that's why I started to think, well, what actually can you do? And then that's what that turned into that chapter, things about the focus and the awareness, and those are things that you can work on. If you try and work on like not getting angry or being sparkly, it'll just come across a bit of a false note. But if you just work on the other stuff, then that will come anyway, I think.
And we're talking about that it's okay to start yoga at any age. So what's good guidelines for someone who's maybe a little, either kind of lost their way a little bit mentally or physically, or that they're a little bit older and they don't know where to start? What advice would you give to someone who really feels like it's not something they could ever do, but they could really do with it?
Yes, well, I think it's never too late, and anybody, even if you can just breathe and move your hands, you can still do, some of these practices that seem simple, but actually they're very powerful. So, I'd hate that anyone would think that they couldn't do it. The main thing is to find a teacher that's happy to work with you and sympathetic, and then just do what feels right, really. So long as you're moving and breathing and it feels good, then, anyone could do it.
Yeah, so that's great. So yeah, anyone really, I think that yoga can just make a massive change in your life. Whoever you are, whatever you're doing.
Definitely, and it can always be adapted for everyone. I've had people starting in their 70s, and it's beautiful what they do. It's really inspiring and really amazing.
Okay, so Mel's book's great, and it's never too late to do yoga. That's the message for this interview.